Welcome back to Andy and Anna Talks, where we explore the big, strange, and sometimes uncomfortable questions of modern life.
And right now, there's a really big one bubbling up everywhere, isn't there?
Definitely. What will humans actually do if artificial intelligence ends up doing practically everything?
Yeah, it's a question that's, jumped right out of science fiction and landed firmly in our labs.
Right.
We're seeing AI doing things like writing really persuasive marketing copy, building complex software, even helping doctors with diagnoses.
And creating art, making visuals, simulating therapy sessions.
Absolutely. And then you hear about things like, well, AI girlfriends or AI professors helping students, even AI assistants in courtrooms.
It's almost comical if it weren't so profound. I mean, try explaining that 20 years back. People would have thought you were joking.
Or maybe just nervously backed away. It's definitely a mix of awe and, frankly, a bit of panic for some.
For sure. But today, maybe we can shift the focus a little. Instead of just listing what AI can do, let's really dig into, well, what does that leave for us? For humans?
Good angle.
Yeah.
Because the pace of AI evolution, it's just staggering.
It really is. It feels like it's outpacing laws, education systems, even just our basic understanding of what's happening.
Exactly. And it's not just about automating the simple stuff anymore, like, basic data entry. That was the old story.
Right.
Now, AI is making inroads into really high-skill areas, things we thought were safe. Lawyers, doctors, writers, even CEOs making strategic decisions.
It's kind of wild. We used to reassure ourselves, oh, the creative jobs are safe, but now you have AI generating songs.
Or painting like Van Gogh, or yeah, even drafting scripts that, might actually end up on Netflix someday.
So that brings up a really critical tension, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Just because an AI can do something, maybe even very well, does that mean humans should just stop?
That's the million-dollar question. If AI is faster, cheaper, maybe better on paper,
Mm-hmm.
what's our purpose then? What's the human value add?
Yeah, what is the point?
And this connects deeply to how we see work, doesn't it? For so many people, a job is way more than just a paycheck.
Oh, absolutely. It's tied up with identity, it gives life structure, it provides a sense of meaning, contribution.
Think about the first thing we often ask someone new.
What do you do?
Yeah,
It's like shorthand for understanding who someone is, maybe even what they're worth in society's eyes.
right. It's rarely just about the actual tasks they perform. It's about their place, their perceived value.
So, if AI starts taking over more and more of those doing roles, what happens to our sense of self-worth, our reason for getting up in the morning?
That's the potential crisis lurking beneath the surface.
Yeah.
It's not just economic disruption, it's existential. If we're not needed in the traditional sense,
Yeah.
what are we for?
Yeah.
And it probably means we need a massive rethink about work itself.
How so?
Maybe moving away from seeing ourselves primarily as like productive machines
Okay.
and more towards being, I don't know, intentional humans,
Hmm.
people driven by purpose beyond just measurable output.
Intentional humans. I like that. Okay, so let's look at the other side of the coin. What can't AI do? Right now, at least. What are its limits?
Well, this is crucial. Currently, AI fundamentally lacks genuine emotional depth, real nuance.
It can mimic, right. It can learn patterns of emotion.
It can mimic, yes, based on vast amounts of data, but it doesn't feel, it doesn't have subjective experience. Things like complex moral judgment, true empathy, spiritual connection, the real messy stuff of human relationships. That's still our domain.
So an AI could write a poem about loneliness, maybe even a good one, based on analyzing millions of texts.
But it doesn't feel that ache of isolation.
Hmm.
It can process data about love, but it doesn't yearn for someone or feel that deep, sometimes illogical connection.
There's a big difference between calculation and consciousness.
Huge. And between raw intelligence and, well, wisdom, the kind that comes from actually living, messing up, feeling things.
Right, like you could ask ChatGPT for advice about a breakup.
And it might give you, logically sound steps based on psychological models it's learned.
But it doesn't understand what it feels like to cry in the shower over it or fall apart in the middle of a grocery store because a song came on.
Exactly. It processes information.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't embody the experience. Not like we do.
And let's hope it stays that way.
There's certainly a strong argument that subjective consciousness is fundamentally different. So, okay, let's imagine that future where machines handle most labor. What do humans do all day?
Does it free us up for other things? Maybe rediscover things like pure play or creation just for its own sake.
Deeper connections, Maybe more time for actual healing, for reflection.
Yeah, maybe we spend more time, I don't know, raising kids with more patience because we're not so stressed about output.
Or starting community gardens, writing poetry nobody pays us for, just because we want to. Or even just resting, properly resting.
Imagine a society where your value isn't tied directly to your economic productivity. It sounds revolutionary.
It does. Almost utopian in a way.
Hmm.
But there's a catch, isn't there?
What's that?
It could also be kind of terrifying. We're so conditioned, so deeply trained to equate doing with being valuable. The sheer freedom to just be might feel overwhelming, unsettling even.
That's a really good point. We might not know what to do with ourselves, so maybe our main job then becomes internal.
Like emotional evolution,
Mhm.
learning how to find meaning and define ourselves without the old structures of work.
Yeah, and if you think about it, that internal shift, that could be a bigger revolution than the tech itself, changing what it means to be human.
Which leads to another interesting idea. Maybe AI isn't here to replace us, but to refine us.
Refine us. How do you mean?
Well, think about it. If AI handles the drudgery, the boring emails, the endless data sifting, the routine stuff,
Yep.
doesn't that free up our human bandwidth for the things that really matter? Deeper conversations, more creative thinking, stronger relationships, less transaction, more connection.
So AI becomes a tool, a sort of background support system.
Exactly. It handles the noise, theoretically letting us focus on the signal, on what's truly human.
Theoretically. Because there's a danger there too, right?
Oh, absolutely. The danger is passivity. We could just outsource everything, not just tasks, but our thinking, our feeling,
Oh,
our choices.
you could lose our agency, become dependent.
And lose touch with that raw, messy beauty of being alive you mentioned. The struggles, the imperfections, the things that make us human, not just efficient.
Which brings us to education. What on earth do we teach the next generation for this future?
It's a massive question. One thing seems clear. Just teaching them to code probably isn't the whole answer.
Why not? Seems counterintuitive.
Because AI will likely get incredibly good at coding itself, maybe better than most humans. The value shifts.
So what do we focus on?
Things AI struggles with. Critical thinking, definitely. Real creativity and innovation. Emotional intelligence, understanding and navigating human emotions. Collaboration. How to ask good questions.
Critical inquiry, yeah. Questioning assumptions, not just accepting outputs.
And maybe some counterintuitive skills, too. Skills that push back against the constant digital noise. Like the ability to be bored. Seriously. To sit with discomfort without immediately reaching for a screen. To cultivate wonder.
Just wonder, like a kid.
Yeah, that sense of awe, that curiosity about the world that isn't just about data points. That might be one of the most fundamentally human things and incredibly hard for an algorithm to replicate.
So wrapping this up, it feels like humanity isn't doomed, maybe, just seriously challenged.
Challenge, definitely. Maybe AI is acting like a giant mirror.
A mirror.
Yeah, forcing us to look really hard and ask, what is actually essential about being human? When the doing is handled, what defines the being?
And the even bigger question, what kind of humans do we want to be in a world where maybe, just maybe, we don't have to work constantly just to survive?
It shifts the focus from just staying relevant to staying real.
Embracing those uniquely human things, the feeling, the connection, the imagination.
Because the future probably belongs to those who can still feel deeply, connect authentically, and dream beyond the algorithm.
So the task isn't really competing with AI head-on?
No. I think the real task is reclaiming, and maybe even deepening, our own humanity.
Thanks for listening to Andy and Anna Talks. If this sparks something in you, a question, a pause, a little existential wonder, maybe share it with someone.
And remember, even in an AI-powered world, your presence, your unique human presence, still matters more than your productivity.
We'll see you next week. Until then, stay curious, stay human.